Consumers and businesses are responding to changing needs and adapting to changes in omnichannel commerce. But fraud attempts are evolving as well. In fact, fraud is increasing at a breakneck speed, costing online businesses $18.6 billion annually. Introducing a solution that helps Microsoft stop around $1 billion of attempted fraud in Microsoft's online business every year. Microsoft Dynamics 365 Fraud Protection is your cloud-based AI solution designed to protect your omnichannel business revenue and reputation, helping you secure your data and revenue confidently. Protect against payment fraud, reduce operational expenses, and increase bank acceptance rates with purchase protection. Dynamics 365 Fraud Protection is the first fraud prevention product that enables you to collaborate with issuers by sharing trust knowledge in real time to help increase acceptance rates. Combined with the global connected knowledge in our fraud protection network and built-in device fingerprinting, purchase protection can help yield better fraud detection accuracy with fewer false positives. Defend against fake account creation, fraudulent account access, and account takeover with account protection. You'll get adaptive AI that helps safeguard user accounts through account creation and sign-in protection, bot protection that guards against fraudulent activity from bots, and device fingerprinting. And with loss prevention, you'll be able to protect revenue by auto-detecting anomalies, identifying discount patterns, and combating return fraud. Take action to quickly mitigate loss with business intelligence reporting, our fraud protection network, and adaptive AI technology while keeping your business buzzing securely. Protect against payment transactions, accounts, and in-store losses in an ever-changing world. Microsoft Dynamics 365 Fraud Protection. Start your journey today.
Well, hello everybody, and thanks for joining our room and our session today. I'm delighted to come back here in Rise 2021 and moderate this panel over the fraud prevention with our esteemed guest from Microsoft. The announcement of the partnership with Microsoft has been done today, and you are the very first people who are going to hear about this partnership. So you can see how excited we are to talk about it today. We want to keep this session very interactive, so please do ask questions from us. I have some questions that I'm going to ask during the panel, but your questions come first. So if you do ask the questions, I skip mine and I start with your questions. With that intro, I'm going to introduce our guest from Microsoft, and I start with Sandra. Sandra Feinberg is the Payment and Fraud Executive from Microsoft. She has been leading the global sales team from Microsoft Dynamics 365. She has more than 20 years experience within the fraud prevention. Thanks, Sandra, for being with us. And the other guest that we have, Jose Martinez Montero. He is the Senior Manager for Customer Acquisition within Microsoft. He has been in Microsoft for more than a decade, and he has gone from into various roles from software engineering into product management for several products within Microsoft, including Windows, Xbox, and now Dynamics 365. So I start, Sandra, with you, and with the very first question. If you wanted to can something interesting about Microsoft and this solution, what would you say?
Oh, Panteha, that's such a great question. I think one of the things that is most impressive about this solution is how it was developed, because most people don't even know that Microsoft has a fraud protection solution. So what happened is Microsoft is actually a top 10 e-commerce company as well. So about 6 years ago, we were experiencing our own fraud challenges. I think you saw in the video, we were doing over 1 billion transactions a year. And we had third-party fraud protection solutions, and nobody could really hit the nail on the head and really help us to mitigate those fraud losses. Our executive team said, listen, guys, we are Microsoft. We need to figure this thing out. We are fully capable. So a bunch of engineers went into a room, They didn't come out for a few months, basically. And when they returned, they had a fantastic adaptive AI fraud solution that we utilize today. And the sweet spot about this is that we are actually experiencing about a 10% revenue uplift just by utilizing our fraud protection solution. So we'll get into some of those details as we go along today, but the special integration that we have with Worldline is so exciting to bring to the market. I really think it's a game changer.
Thank you for that. And I'm going to do something really tricky here. And I want to go now to Josue and ask him the same question. But I want to ask you about the key capabilities and differentiative, let's say, features that you have within Microsoft Dynamics 365. I know you can talk about it for hours, but keep it, please, within the timeline.
Definitely will do. So hi, everyone. Super excited to be here. When we think about kind of some of the key capabilities and differentiators, there's a lot to talk about, and we have a slide up here because we like visual aids. So we'll kind of talk about a couple of these key ones. But to start, our entire solution was built and based on this concept of adaptive AI, which is essentially really advanced machine learning. The reason we built it this way was because when we look at our businesses, right, we protect all of Microsoft today, which is how we developed this in the first place, as Sandra was mentioning. There are lots of different types of attack vectors that we see because our businesses are diverse. I mean, we protect everything from Azure to Office to Windows to Xbox to LinkedIn to a series of other businesses just for Microsoft. And what we noticed is that there are lots of different types of attack vectors. You've got everything from organized crime to kind of mom and pop fraud shops to state-sponsored attackers. And they're all attacking us in different ways and using different fraud patterns. And so we needed a solution that could adapt to those ever-changing fraud patterns and catch them quickly before they were able to extract significant loss. And so taking advantage of several advances in the machine learning space, we developed our entire solution on top of this core AI platform. And this is an area where Microsoft has invested aggressively. I mean, we have just in the machine learning fraud protection space, we have over 12 patents to our name and many more patents under application with the specific goal of helping to identify and prevent this fraud from ever occurring. When you start talking about machine learning, generally the first question that comes to mind is, well, what data do you use to train it? And that's where our fraud protection network comes into play. The core value prop of the fraud protection network is its global reach. Just Microsoft's businesses alone cover billions of users around the world. And then when you add to that all of the other customers that are leveraging our platform to protect against fraud, the reach is enormous. And so that helps us identify potential fraud across the world as it's happening in real time. And it allows us to prevent that kind of behavior from occurring. Now, one of the things that feeds into that fraud protection network, and I think this is a particularly interesting moment, so I'll pause here for a moment, is device fingerprinting. In the past, as Microsoft, we had used a lot of our own fraud protection solutions, but we had used other people's device fingerprinting solutions, and they didn't really work. We didn't really like the performance that we got from any of them, and they could not scale to meet our business needs. And so we took advantage of our in-house expertise with devices, browsers, and operating systems, because it turns out Microsoft builds all three. And we took all of that context and pulled it together and built our own device fingerprinting solution from scratch, also built on top of this concept of adaptive AI and machine learning. And so what we found over time is a considerable improvement over what we see in the market in terms of device fingerprinting, not just in terms of accuracy, but also in terms of validity and its scale. Now, in the interest of time, I'll kind of jump down to some of the core capabilities at the bottom. We know that especially when it comes to risk, bank authorizations are an important piece of what happens. If the bank is declining all of your transactions, it doesn't really matter how good your system is, you're going to struggle. And so we've built a lot of capabilities into the product that we'll have to save for another session when we have more time. But there are lots of capabilities that we built in around improving bank authorization. One of those is the structure, the architecture in which we check for transactions. We're a pre-authorization solution. So we look at transactions before they even go to the bank. And what we've seen is that by pre-filtering a lot of that potential risk, the bank ends up seeing the merchant as a less risky merchant. And so that leads to an increase in the overall authorization rates. And then there are some other bits and pieces there that we can cover in a later session. When we get to manual reviews, for example, this is another kind of core area where we wanted to improve. When we look at kind of the industry average for manual reviews, industry average tends to be about 5% of your e-com volume gets reviewed. At Microsoft, we consider that to be unacceptable. We could not scale our business appropriately if we had to review, several percentage points, 5% of our e-commerce volume. And on top of it being unacceptable from a scale standpoint, it's also not great from a customer experience standpoint. We don't want to delay orders because we need somebody to go and check on something. We want our customers to be able to jump straight into our products, straight into our experiences, and really enjoy them without having to worry about the payment flow. And so reducing and optimizing manual reviews was a core part of what we did. And I'll let Sandra talk a little bit later about how we pulled some of that together and what have the results been as we built that. Now, the central point about optimizing profitability, this is a key one for us. Whenever you make a decision about risk, you're basically deciding between the potential for loss and the opportunity cost of a false positive. A lot of fraud protection solutions today focus primarily on loss, right? Reducing loss, keeping your chargeback rates or your fraud rates as low as possible. What we found at Microsoft when we did our own research across our own businesses was that we were actually leaving a lot of money on the table in the form of those false positives. Transactions that we were rejecting on the off chance that there might be risk potentially associated with that transaction. And so when we built our solution, we built it with this concept of what we call profit efficiency, which is all about balancing the equation between the potential loss and the potential gains on the opportunity cost side. And so when we built it out this way, we've seen incredible lift in overall revenue across Microsoft's businesses as a result of taking this approach. And many of the other merchants who are also leveraging our fraud protection platform have seen similar gains. And so this is an area where we believe we have some differentiated capabilities in terms of finding that sweet spot and truly optimizing and maximizing profitability for every merchant that we help protect. When we look at kind of friendly fraud and serial refunding, this is a plague, especially across digital businesses, gaming, and et cetera. And we basically had to become experts in this because we run the Xbox business. And as one of the largest gaming networks in the world, we see lots of friendly fraud, or at least attempted friendly fraud. And so over the years, we've had to get really good, and we've had to, make several advances in our machine learning capabilities to help identify potential friendly fraud before it occurs. And so this is another kind of core differentiator to our technologies, being able to prevent those types of friendly fraud before they even occur. And then finally, when we kind of talk about our multi-phase vertical models, we designed our platform and we built it around this concept of verticals. We know that not all businesses are the same. As we saw earlier when I was talking about kind of the genesis of our product, we have a very diverse set of businesses. And the attack vectors that you see are different. The types of fraud that you see are different. And so we built our platform to support this. And so today we support pretty much every vertical in existence as part of the platform and as part of the data set that we have through the Fraud Protection Network. And so when we kind of look at the holistic view of all the things that we kind of brought together here as part of this overall fraud protection solution, we're really excited to be able to bring all of this to the Worldline customer base. And through our special partnership and collaboration with Worldline, we're really excited to get going on this. So Panteha, I think I'm right on time, so I'll hand it back to you.
Thanks. So indeed, you mentioned about really interesting points regarding the manual review and the friendly fraud that I think has been the point of discussion in many of our events and also in the industry that we hear about. Without introduction about the key features, now, Sandra, I'm coming to you to ask about, do you have any case studies to kind of back up what Josue just presented and give us some numbers?
Absolutely. So we have many case studies, but I think the one that I want to focus on today is the actual Microsoft case study, as we're customer zero. So as we said before, since we're a customer and provider of the same technology, it gives us a unique perspective on fraud and fraud trends. We care about the same things that all of you care about: reducing false positives, increasing bank acceptance rates, reducing manual review efforts. For example, Over the last 4 years, Microsoft has improved our revenue from our false positives by 138 basis points. We've experienced improved revenue from our bank acceptance rates, improving the bank acceptance rates 907 basis points. And we've reduced our manual review 82%. That is a game changer. In fact, our overall manual review is 0.3%. And we have some businesses like Xbox that rely on our score so much that they have a 0% manual review rate. So when you look at all the factors, Microsoft itself experienced about a 10% revenue uplift by utilizing our fraud protection solution. It's really something special. I come from outside of Microsoft. I've been with Microsoft about 1.5 years. And when Microsoft approached me to join the team, I said, I'm working in fraud now. I've been in payments a long time. So, what do you have that's special? And when they showed me, I said, I have to be a part of it. It's truly a game changer.
Thank you. You mentioned about really good numbers and also really important features, including the bank acceptance rate. That is very important. And I think it is worthy mention that this comes from the amount of data that Microsoft has and has fed into their machine learning. And putting that in addition to that data, putting Worldline data to that, you can imagine the vast, let's say, experience we are feeding into the machine learning to calculate and do it per vertical, per business line, per the size of the merchants. And that's the beauty of it. And I know that from both sides, at least we all know that we have invested massively on making it tailor-made to the customers and the portfolio of Worldline, the complexity that we have and the verticals and the sizes that we have within Worldline. So with that, well, I'm still waiting for questions, and I hope that audience asks questions. But I'm going to let's say, if we want to have the key takeaways from this, what would you mention, Josue? I come to you. What would be the key takeaways if you were in the shoes of the merchant and you would be, you wanted to take some key points from this discussion?
Yeah, I would say that the collaboration that we have between the power of Microsoft's industry-leading machine learning and fraud protection capabilities, as you mentioned, coming together with Worldline's impressive payments technology, global reach, and just the data set. If you really think about it, I mean, the combination of Worldline's global data set and Microsoft's global data set, two large kind of titans of their respective industries, coming together to bring that innovative technology together. We really believe that this is going to provide Worldline's merchants with just unparalleled protection and business impact. And we're really excited about being able to continue innovating in this space, continue driving almost obsessively to ensure that every single merchant that we protect manages to optimize their profits, reduce their operational costs, and really improve their business lines and allow them to scale as they need to.
Sandra, do you want to add any kind of takeaways to what Josue just mentioned?
Absolutely. I think the ability to truly optimize for profitability while reducing those manual reviews and false positives is really a game changer for the fraud protection industry. Worldline and Microsoft have partnered to really bring a bespoke solution to your entire merchant base. And we believe in this technology so much that we use it ourselves. And we would encourage all of Worldline's merchants to try it and see how much value it can unlock for your business.
Totally agree with you. And we are, after this session, we are also available to answer questions and have discussion one-on-one with the merchants that are interested to hear more about this solution. For those merchants who are working with Worldline, you know that you have a dedicated fraud manager that you can ask about this solution from them and get the information that you wish. We are also available here for you, so the information you can find. My name is Panteha Pedram. I think I forgot to introduce myself in the beginning. I was so excited about everything. And I'm managing the the risk products and value-added services team. And I and my colleagues are here within the crowd to answer any questions that you have about this partnership and what it brings for you, what it means for you. I don't see any questions coming. Josue, Sandra, do you want to add anything that you think is worth mentioning here about the solution or the partnership with Worldline?
For me, I'm just so excited to be able to work with all of your merchants and all of your representatives. It's so exciting to have something fresh and that actually works in the market. So it's really, really fun.
I would say that I'm also really excited about being able to help all of the merchant base essentially, help succeed. We have done lots and lots of, trials and proof of concepts, and we've worked with a lot of merchants over the course of having brought this technology to market. And we have yet to see a merchant who does not experience lift and does not experience considerable business impact as a result of, leveraging this platform and the solution and the capabilities that we bring to the table. So we're really excited to showcase that, and we're really excited to really prove to merchants just how impactful this technology and this partnership, this collaboration between Worldline and Microsoft can be. So we're really excited, and we really hope that the entire merchant base will give us the opportunity to prove just how much value is available here.
Perfect. Just closing down the session, I'm going to review what we just discussed briefly during this session. So the solution that we are introducing today, again, it is meant for all verticals, all kind of value ticket sizes that you have within your business. It is meant from the micro transactions to the high value retailers. And it covers all kind of patterns within the data mining. So the verticals that are being covered within this solution are massively, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you want to do a pilot with Microsoft. So some of the key features that were mentioned were the artificial intelligence and its power, as well as its combination with the rule-based that some of you are really relying on that features, having the device fingerprinting integrated into it, the reduction of manual review, yet having a case manager for the manual review if you desire that. And with all that, I'm going to close this session, and I hope it has been interesting for you as well. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.